Hey guys, it's Snailbiter, and I've got another World of Tanks video here. This is the second of the two replays that I wanted to show you guys with the Object 430 version 2, which is a tier 9 Russian medium tank. It leads to the Object 430. It's part of the new Russian medium tank line that was added, I think, back in the 8.10 patch. So this is a round on Siegfried line, and it's a pretty good matchup for me, only 429s on each side, so it's always good to be one of those top tier tanks. I would give the slight edge to the enemy team. I think they have a few more decent players than my team does. But it really isn't too heavily in one team's favor, so it should be a fairly close match. Although I'm going to have to play well if I want my team to win. Siegfried Line is another map that I think is more city-oriented than a lot of maps actually in this game, although not to the same extent that Himmelsdorf is, obviously. But I do think the city is much more important on Siegfried Line than the field, and so I almost always go city, somewhere in the city, really regardless of the tank that I'm playing, with the exception maybe of a scout tank. But otherwise I tend to like to fight in the city, and I just think it's a much more important area to control. So I've gone into the center of the city here, and I think this is a pretty good spot for really covering all areas of the city. You can shoot at really all the entrance points, and that's generally how I like to start out rounds, by being in a position where I can cover as much of the map as possible, or I can get to other areas of the map in a really short amount of time. And so I'm able to actually get some nice early shots into this E75. I got a good track shot there, and I'm just totally ignoring this T-43 because I know he can't pen me frontally. And I'm able to get a third shot there into the E75, so some good damage into him early on. I was exposing my side to the southeast, but I hadn't seen anything spotted there that really worried me, and so I wasn't too concerned about exposing all of my side armor in that direction. And unfortunately, you can see me having a bit of trouble with the rear-mounted turret. I wasn't really able to go forward far enough to get good shots into the T-43, but he got flanked actually pretty quickly, and it looks like he's about to get taken out. 1375 is being a little over-aggressive. So as is the case with really all the high-tier Russian medium tanks, the 430 version 2 has a really great rate of fire and really good DPM. Of course, what it gains in DPM it sacrifices with penetration, and so especially with the tier 9 Russian medium tanks, that is something that you have to be a little bit careful of, is the lack of penetration. I don't think it's a huge issue most of the time. I know a lot of people like to spam heat rounds in these tier 9 medium tanks, Russian medium tanks. I don't think it's necessary though, because they tend to be pretty good at flanking and also actually firing on the move, which can be really helpful as well. And there I'm just able to depress enough to get a kill shot in the M103. So you saw me make a bit of a mistake against that Leopard PTA. I think I over-angled when I was side-scraping, and so I took 2 shots from him and wasn't able to shoot him at all in return. It was a bad trade. And now I'm just being kind of lazy with my angling and positioning. I'm just letting this Panther 2 shoot me, and I could definitely be doing a better job in trying to be more careful in the angle that I'm giving him to shoot at. Fortunately, he misses a few shots, but I've been bleeding a lot of hit points in the last minute or so, and really taken way too many shots for a medium tank. Even though this thing can bounce some shots and absorb shots in its tracks if you're side scraping well, I really shouldn't have left myself as exposed as I did. And this is a very close round too, and it never hurts to have some extra hit points towards the end, so I really could use those extra hit points in a situation like this. And I saw that the Sag Panther 2 was giving me his side, and since he was their best player, I decided it was worthwhile to try to sneak out and get a kill shot there. As you saw, the rear-mounted turret and the inability to fully traverse my turret around 360 degrees was giving me a little bit of trouble there, but I was able to get the kill shot. Now I have to be careful about how I move around the map. I'm a one-shot for anything that's left on the enemy team, and I really have to be smart about picking my shots now. So I saw this Type 59 shoot, and I decided it was worth sneaking a shot into him. Able to just poke out and get a nice track shot. The other thing that I'm concerned about in this situation is getting surrounded. My team is taking control of the city, but a lot of the tanks left on my team are low health, and so we can't afford to get caught in a crossfire. So as soon as I saw that T-34-2 pop up on the minimap, I decided I wanted to make sure that he got killed, and I was going to go back and help out that Leopard PTA, but he was able to deal with it himself. Now I know that there was a T-34 last spotted in F0, and I'm worried that he might have tried to move up the zero line and flank around my team, and so I was going to head back and try to make sure he hadn't gotten to that point, or try to cut him off at least. I decided instead to maybe sneak a shot into the side of this low. I do want to be careful though, because if he's looking in my direction, he could obviously one-shot me. Fortunately, he wasn't looking in my direction. I had a bit of trouble with the gun depression there, but I was able to get a shot, and we take him out. So my team's in pretty good shape now, but I still need to be careful. I can't tell you how many times I have thrown away matches where I thought my team was in a winning position, and then I kind of suicide for no reason, and end up costing my team the win. So I definitely don't want to do that in this circumstance, and definitely still want to be careful. Now I don't think the T-34 has moved up, so I'm going to go back over and help out my allies still in the city, who are all obviously very low on hit points. And I'm pretty sure the waffle on the enemy team is still full health, so even though we have the tank advantage, the enemy has a lot of hit points left, and they could very easily pull this one out still if we don't work together. I saw the Type 59 was fairly low. I think he was around 320 hit points, so it's possible that I could one-shot him, and I'm going to see if I can get a kill shot on him. I'm going near where he was last spotted, and there he gets spotted. So I'm going to poke out, take a quick shot and reverse, and I was pretty lucky that that shot went in. I think it penned just below his gun on the front of his turret. It was kind of a lucky shot. I'm trying to side scrape out. I'm pretty confident that I could bounce if he shoots at my angled side. And for some reason he decides to just poke out in front of me, and I'm able to get the kill shot. And the waffle misses me, thankfully. As I've mentioned, one thing that I really like to do with this tank a lot is side scrape around corners to try to spot my enemies. And you know, even if I don't even spot them, if my sixth sense goes off, then I know something's there. And it's a much better way with a medium tank to peek a corner than by just exposing your front armor. It's a much safer way, and it minimizes your chance of getting shot and getting damaged. It's also a great way to lure the enemy into shooting. You know, that's always a good tactic as well in a medium tank, if you can almost tempt the enemy into taking a bad shot. It's something much easier and less risky to do with side scraping, and so here I'm trying to just go back and forth and see if the T-34 will get anxious and just take a poor shot that has little chance of hitting me. And when I see him sort of start to look away or start to back off, I'm just going to take a quick snapshot. These aren't really good shots. I'm obviously not fully zooming in and waiting for the reticle to settle, but I'm just taking them in case, because I know, that there's a small chance that they might go in, and if I get some hit points and damage, then great. But really, I just want to occupy him until my teammates can help me out and finish him off. I get lucky there. The Leopard PTA had flanked us, which is actually a pretty smart move on his part. Fortunately, he just hits my track, and I live to fight another day. You did actually see there, though, that because I couldn't traverse my turret all the way around, I had to repair my track in order to turn and face him. At first, my instinct was to just turn my turret, and so that's why I didn't actually repair the track immediately, because I was thinking, with most medium tanks, you can traverse your turret all the way around, and you don't have to repair your track in that situation. But in order to get him to back off, I had to repair the track and traverse my tank around. So that is a situation where this tank does suffer a little bit, and with the fact that it can't traverse its turret a full 360 degrees. It doesn't come into play too often, but there are situations where it can be really frustrating. Now I'm coming back around here to try to get a flank shot on the Leopard PTA in case he tried to move up. Once I saw the Waffle get respotted, I knew he was a little bit out of position to cover this area, this side, and I decided I wanted to see if I could move up and take out the Leopard. And I decided to just kind of rush over this road, and again I get pretty lucky as the Leopard just tracks me for no damage. He was in a pretty good spot, I wasn't expecting that at all. But I get lucky again, and this time I'm able to get the kill shot. Now this round isn't over yet, it is 3v1, but that Waffle is still full health, and he can one-shot each one of the tanks that are left on my team, including myself. So I'm thinking it's probably best if I try to flank him. We don't want to go at him one by one, we want to try to make it so that he has to deal with multiple flanks at once. So I'm going to see if I can flank around kind of towards the enemy cap and just try to spot him either for the ST1. I wasn't initially thinking or hoping that the Leopard would come with me, but it's probably a smart move. And with the camo of this tank, I'm not too worried about getting spotted. I do have full camo trained on my crew, which is, I think, something that is definitely worthwhile to have on all these Russian medium tanks. So the Leopard and I flank around, and I'm coming up on the cap now, and I'm thinking at first I just want to get some hard cover. I'm assuming we'll spot the Waffle, and I just want to spot him and then make sure that I have somewhere to hide. There he is. Take a quick shot. I wasn't immediately sure which direction he was aiming, and unfortunately that first shot dips low and only hits his tracks for no damage. I almost stayed out for a second shot, but he was turning his turret in this direction and definitely wasn't worthwhile. I'm just waiting for him to move or start to look somewhere else, and I'm able to poke out and sneak a shot into him. These Russian mediums are generally pretty good at snapshotting, which is something that I love doing. And in situations like this, it's really helpful to be able to just poke out quickly and take a quick shot that has a pretty decent chance of hitting the target. So the Leopard moves up, and we have this guy surrounded now. He actually kills the Leopard there, and I'm going to just move in, take my time with this final shot, and pick up the kill. So that's the end of the game. I end up with 6 kills, a Top Gun, and just about 5,500 damage. I also got high caliber. And another ace tanker I actually ended up with almost exactly 1400 XP, so a pretty similar experience round. I actually also ended up with a steel wall. I got, it looks like, exactly 11 hits received. It wasn't so much that I was bouncing shots, I only had 1400 damage blocked by armor, but I did take full advantage of the hit point pool that this tank has available. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.